We are putting a cap on mom guilt and exploring daddy daycare tonight on Ashlee and Evan's After Show here on AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Okay, guys, we had to listen to a little Sweet Child of Mine for the
So
mom
good.
guilt episode.
My shirt. Perfectly. So good.
So tonight we're going to talk about mom guilt, daddy daycare, of course, and we're also going to talk about little annoyances.
Oh, yes.
So I would like to first ask you guys what your overall thoughts are about the episode and introduce yourselves. I'm Susan Pinckney.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? I'm Haley J.
And I'm Maddie Pocks. It's good to be back. I'm so excited.
Okay, so what was your one favorite thing about the episode, Maddie?
Well, I don't like how they were fighting, but I like to see them kind of, they have their differences. And now I feel like in this episode, they really talked it out a little bit. And, they keep working through the motions. And I liked seeing that. What about you, Haley?
Honestly, I was having more fun with this episode. I found myself laughing more. I think Evan's comments are really funny, and just the way he kind of explains himself and the predicaments only he would get himself
I
in.
have to
Really
agree
funny.
with you. Absolutely. And yeah, how he explains himself. Like,
Yes.
I simply adore him. I just have to make that clear. I love Evan. I absolutely adore him. He says the darndest things.
I think that's why he gets away with it, though, because of the humor he puts behind
like
the
his
little things like
trip
that.
to the restroom in the middle of the night and like what happens, and he's like, well, what do you think? Turn on the light and lift up
Don't
the
pee
seat.
on the seat.
Yes.
And can I add one more thing? His friend Jazz is hilarious. So
Oh my
I
gosh,
loved
Jazz.
seeing him trying to help them out, I guess, because, they're fighting and they have, all this stuff that they're doing with their work. And then he's like, I've never had a kid or kids or whatever, but I'm just trying to help them. And it's like,
I
they
can
always.
get everyone in the club, though.
Exactly. Okay, so let's just jump in with mom guilt. So, of course, Ashlee had to contemplate what it's like being a working mom now. It's a struggle that a lot of mothers have, worldwide. And so I like how she really takes her job as a mom very seriously, of course. And she wants to make sure that her child is taken care of in the best possible way, whether she's there or if she's not.
Absolutely. Juggling so many hats, from wanting to, she's basically reinventing her career again, coming back in the spotlight with Evan. They want to be portrayed as serious professionals and, seeing how people are going to react to their new music. And then on top of that, they're trying to be the best parents ever, and the pressure that comes with not being able to sometimes pick up your kid or having other arrangements. And they don't show, so I don't think they do, but they don't have any extra help aside from them, right? Like
It
no
looks
nanny or
like
anything?
Stephanie jumps in sometimes, and Lolo. Looks like their friends kind of pick up a lot of the
no,
slack.
like hired
Yeah,
help. It
but
doesn't
I'm
seem.
not sure if maybe her friends are on her payroll. It appears to me like, when she's cleaning up coconut milk. I mean, I would do that for my friend. However, I don't think my friends would expect me to do it. You know what I
That's
mean?
a good point. I
Yeah.
wonder if some of them are more like,
And-
there's a name for the friends / like manager.
Like the entourage kind of
Right.
thing, And if you have to hire somebody to be your personal assistant, why not
For
have a
sure.
trusted person,
Right.
someone that you know and grew up with. So, but do you get the feeling that Ashlee's a little bit of a perfectionist? I mean, there's mom guilt, of course, but I feel like she is a little bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, she also kind of grew up with that life with her parents. So maybe she's just trying so hard to not, I'm not saying her parents made mistakes, but to really pay attention to her kids so they don't think, oh, they have to go on a shoot or on tour or something and I can't go along with them. So she's like really fixated on not being someone who's going to leave their kids out and then, then they're going to grow up wrong or something and think, I don't know, that they can't come on tour or do all these things. So I think she's paranoid, I think, a little bit, and she really wants to do it right.
So did your parents work? Both parents?
Yeah, they did. I mean, but I was never on tour, and I don't know what it's like to have artist parents. So I think she's lucky. I guess she got to live through that, but she's like so paranoid she's gonna do it wrong. And then her her children won't understand and she won't be there enough for them or something. So
What is cool about everything being filmed nowadays is when her daughter is old enough, she can kind of look back and see firsthand how everything really was and the struggle that Ashlee went through. 'Cause
Oh, absolutely.
that does seem hard. And even when she finds kind of that balance that we see that she brings her daughter into the shoot, it's not, smooth sailing. If she's trying to stay focused on set and her daughter's having a tantrum, that's going to be distracting. And as a mom, that's where you have to handle it. But as a professional, you have to be on set. So I wonder if we'll see any more of that, if that gets easier.
I think of course, I mean, her child is the perfect age to throw a tantrum on set, which she's at 2.5, 3 years old. So I feel like the baby will get better. And as time goes on, Evan talked about how he was always at photo shoots and on set with his mom and he enjoyed it. So, and you could see that little Jagger enjoyed moments with them on set. She wanted her own picture taken.
Right. That was
So I
cute.
think as she gets older and understands it a little bit more, we don't want her to grow up too fast, but I think she'll understand what it's like to be professional on set.
Right. And it's clear that Ashlee and Evan want her there because they don't want to just put her in daycare. They want her with them and to see what mommy and daddy do at work. So I think that is a really good way to incorporate both the family and work balance because
So
it is tough.
I asked Maddie, I'm going to ask you, did your mom work?
So my mom did, but she was actually at my elementary school. She was a
that's
librarian.
awesome.
So
That's
I did kind of have her
perfect.
around.
Yes.
Yeah. My dad was traveling more, but he was like very involved. So it always did, for the most part, feel like they were around, which I did like. I don't think I don't know if they were constantly gone. I feel like that would probably affect me.
I never had a babysitter like outside of my family, like my grandmother, until I was probably 7 years old or so. And then my mom went to work. And so I feel like that's, her kids are slightly younger than that, but it's the same concept where, you build whatever your foundation is and then you work from there.
Right. Yeah, I had babysitters, but never any steady nanny type situation. I think you see more of that now.
Yeah, of course. And you see more women, obviously,
Right.
outside
I
of the
think
house
with the
and doing
workforce,
more.
it is
Yeah.
changing, which I like. Power to the women.
Absolutely. So before we jump into our next topic of daddy daycare, Maddie has some words for our viewers.
I do. Okay, so hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you and will help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and we'll check out other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. Thanks for being the best fans and for helping us to be the ESPN of TV talk.
Thank you. So, and also I just read that you can also find us on Spotify now. So
Yes.
Spotify and iTunes. And of course you can subscribe and have us on YouTube.
Yeah, amazing.
Makes
You
it
can have us
super easy
everywhere.
with the LA traffic. Just put on that podcast and get going.
So guys, okay, is it a little bit, I'm gonna say hypocritical? What is the word? Is it a little wrong that we make a big deal when a dad takes care of his kid versus a mom is expected to do it every single day, 24 hours a day?
Well, I mean, in Europe, it's kind of the other way around. It's not the other way around, but I mean, a lot of the guys pick up the leeway with having, taking care of the kids. And they actually, like with the public restrooms or whatever, how the woman has the changing
yes.
thing. They have that in Europe as the men have that.
Oh,
so it's like
awesome.
kind of opposite there. So it's kind of, maybe it's changing a little bit here, and I don't know. It's like you watch that, and it shouldn't be that way that the woman's expected to do, do
Right.
everything. So I don't
That's
know.
interesting.
It's interesting, but they've had that for a while because I mean, my mom's from Sweden, so I always see that when I go there, and I'm like, oh, so it's kind of like the men are expected to do it.
Because
I don't know.
I am guilty of it too. I felt myself internally wanting to praise him for being such a good dad and taking care of Jagger and having her for the whole day. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's his daughter. He's supposed to do that. You know, they're supposed to be able to take care of the kids as well. So
I think maybe just for the sake of the show and humor, kind of showing especially Jazz and his input, I think it made it more humorous. But yeah, that is actually a really good point that you're like, oh, he did such a great job. Daddy took care of the kids. But what about mom doing it every single day? Yeah, I think it, especially now, depending on couple to couple, I do think every situation's different.
yeah.
But thankfully, Evan he seems to be a really good dad, and I'm sure he could hold his own, cameras or not, if Ashlee was away.
Okay, so I feel like I want to tell Ashlee to plug her ears or anybody else, but did you notice, I know you did, Maddie, when Jazz said he did not know how to put a car seat in, but he was going to learn and try, so he put in the car seat not knowing how to do it? That's so wrong.
I wish I could have seen more of that, because those are a little complicated. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but I've done it with nannying experience, and I'm like, how do you secure this thing? But I would like to think that there was enough crew and production and someone there to make sure that it was secure
I hope
before
so.
he would really
Yeah.
drive with. And I'm sure Evan would, correct something if it was wrong, but... Yeah, that's a bit of a gamble.
If it wasn't Evan, it was some producer who was like, okay, you need to put this in right because we're filming this and we don't want an accident to happen. So,
And then it was also cute how Jagger basically told them where everything was. She told him where to find his shoes. Like, she's like running the house.
But even though she was pointing upstairs and then saying downstairs, so I don't know how much she was actually helping, but he did find them. Yeah. Maybe she can find the toothpaste lids for him
Oh
too.
my gosh, yeah.
can we talk about that for a second?
We're gonna jump into our little annoyances. So we know that Evan has an issue
That's the funniest
with
thing.
putting lids back on. He finds them in his pockets at Chateau Marmont. So what is happening with Evan and these lids?
So I don't know if he was elaborating and just kind of making a funny story, or if it was legitimately cream cheese label that he put in his pocket, because that's not like a small thing. That is like
that's
a
pretty
cream
specific,
cheese
too.
label.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
really funny though, because I really could understand maybe being in the bathroom and you don't put the toothpaste lid on, but if I were Ashlee and I was finding every single jar, especially to put it back in the refrigerator and not have the lid on it. That's like, I mean, if you're going to leave it out and the lid's off, but to like go through the act of putting it back and then still not putting the lid on, I'd say, buddy, come on.
I've had it happen where I go to shake something and the lid's not secure.
Me too.
And then
And
you
that's
feel
what
like a
happened,
jerk
right? That's what
because
happened
you know
with
the
the milk.
liquid is everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm but see, here's what's strange about Evan. He's a little bit of a germaphobe. And he seems to not want, germs and bacteria and all that, but he doesn't want to put lids on.
Interesting point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
He's letting every possible germ come into his food or toothpaste, and the hair's getting stuck on it. Maybe because it's his own house, he feels safer.
Yeah.
I think with the park, he felt like it was an unknown area and anything could happen. So maybe there's the security of, I know what's in my house. So that could make a difference, but still, it's a really good point. Like, you want to avoid the germs. This is the gateway to let them in by what you're doing.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Leaving the toothpaste lid off and
I
orange juice
just
and all
wonder
that.
if
Yeah.
Ashlee should present her argument in that way to him, and maybe he would pay attention. If,
Oh,
if
100.
she spins
Yeah, so
that
you
angle.
have now developed her debate for her when she finally
Yes.
addresses, because you mentioned outside we watched it earlier together as a group, that Ashlee giggles or laughs after she says something to him, so he may not take her seriously.
I think that's the real issue, is because when she addresses something, she kind of, oh, yeah, but if you don't, it's okay. So he's going to continue his pattern. So if she makes it known, hey, like, yeah, sometimes it's funny, but usually it's just annoying. So can you please put the lids back on? I think if she was a little bit more serious, then he would take her seriously.
And what about he was annoyed with her for her 3 a.m. showers, or he said sometimes it's not even a shower, she just washes her hands and her feet before she gets into bed. And I'm with her on that.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you feel like your feet are dirty, you don't want that in your bed.
Yeah.
And you'd think for him and Germs, he would appreciate her doing that for him.
I mean, that's pretty fair. And he should be happy about that. Like, who wouldn't want like clean feet in the bed? You know?
And clean sheets.
considerate.
Unless you change your sheets like every single day.
Which
Yeah.
no one does.
You want to try to preserve them a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little.
I do feel like their household would be fun just to be a fly on the wall and observe. They seem
I think
fun.
that's like, yeah, and we saw some of the friends very briefly, like Naz Tokyo. We saw her come in, and she said, "Oh, I hadn't slept," and she goes, like surprised, like that's just who you are. So I feel like some of their friends, eventually in the future, maybe they will outgrow a little bit. I mean, obviously they'll still be family, they'll still be close, they'll still have a different kind of relationship. But maybe part of like how we saw last week, where Ashlee was annoyed that they were all outside. Do you think maybe she's outgrowing them a little bit?
I do think when you're at a different position in life, when you're juggling work and family life, you are forced to mature. So not to say her friends aren't mature, but if they're at different places in their family life and career life, you're going to want different things. You're going to want to go to bed earlier. That's just naturally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be successful, you've got to make some changes in your social and personal life. So I'm sure. And you never know with what the camera's show and what they don't show. That's the part you kind of have to piece together for yourself. But I would like to think if they are such good friends that it probably does work. And I'm sure they do have that respect for each other. So
Yeah.
I would like to think anyways.
And it seems like Evan, as crazy as he loves to make himself seem when he's talking in the confessionals, and he's funny. And I think a lot of that is humor, like just, or he'll embellish things to make it a little bit more exciting. But I feel like he's winding down a little bit too. Like he's becoming a little bit more mature. He's becoming a little bit more like Ashlee the longer that they're together. And you saw the way that he was with Jagger at the park. Like I feel like he's becoming more adult-like.
Even with the studio session where he had to give up his session to get Jagger, I thought that was really, not to say big of him, but I could see how if I had a session and, I was expecting to go to the session and I had to change my plans to pick up the kid, maybe I would be upset about that, just depending on the scenario. But he didn't seem like he had any issue with it and was like, of course, I'll be there to pick up the kid. So even little things like that, I feel like just where it could have been an argument and wasn't really does show that he supports Ashlee, and that was her time.
Mm-hmm. And they are obviously very well matched and like beautiful to look at and beautiful together. So, and speaking of beautiful together and beautiful to look at, we're going to jump in to our news and gossip, and we're also going to sample that song in the news and gossip and talk about a lot of special dates, including one date that happened to have fallen on Mean Girls Day.
What day is it? So I hope you guys have your planners out because there's a lot going on this month. So we know that it's October 3rd for Mean Girls. Just was Ashlee's birthday. So we want to show you guys, if you didn't see, Evan posted on his Twitter a very sweet birthday shout out. Is this goals right here or is this goals?
Oh.
And it says, "I love you, baby, so much. Happy birthday. I can't believe how lucky I am to have such an incredible wife. You're everything I've ever dreamed of and more. You're the most amazing mother. Experience this life with you is everything." I'm like,
I'm tearing up.
right? Anything and everything that he does, peeing on the toilet seats, leaving caps off, anything and everything that he does.
Forgotten when you do something like that.
I understand why she giggles now.
Right, because that is the thing. I think in relationships, there's going to be those annoying things, but if you can get over them, that's just the things you accept of each other.
Absolutely.
So I think that's just like, that's who he is, and you got to accept it.
Okay, so
But
that was
moving on.
October 3rd.
Right,
so
that was
next?
October 3rd, her birthday shout out. Coming up, we have the AMAs, October 9th. That's going to be a Tuesday. And
Awesome.
obviously, year 2 for her from People.com. Tracy Ellis Ross is hosting and was the executive producer. So I'm sure that's going to be a big family event for them. I'm sure that's going to be really fun.
Last year, that was kind of Jagger and Bronx's dancing debut with their grandma, Diana Ross, on stage.
fun.
So it'd be nice to tune in on Tuesday night on ABC.
Which we know we'll be watching. And I just kind of want to see what they're going to wear.
Yeah,
Gotta
and
be honest.
Tracy, first of all, Tracy
Right.
Ellis Ross and all of her, I guess, wardrobe costumes, like her everyday wear looks
She
so
is
amazing.
fun.
So to see her in a hosting and executive producing position, That's going to be exciting.
I bet they have really fun Thanksgiving and holiday parties, just
my
like
God.
that family dynamic. And then another date, I told you guys to get your planner out. We have October 12th. This is the big one, their EP debut. So we're finally going to get this from Ashlee and Evan. She
exciting.
put it out on Instagram too. You guys can always check it out there.
So
This is
that
them
date will
performing.
be Friday.
That Friday, October 12th.
Awesome.
We see them performing. It's definitely a more intimate moment right here.
So this is that sample, the song segment that we normally do where we debut whatever song it is that they release during the week. And this video is actually from Austin Brown's Canyon Sessions. They performed it back in August, and it was a fundraiser, and they collaboratively raised over $50,000, according to JustJarrett.com.
You can see how comfortable they are with each other too, just the way she's completely letting herself get into it.
I love the way
She
she's
doesn't-
dancing.
yeah, she
like
just
I would
is
love to be able to just
completely
sit
feeling
and
it.
know.
that's like the best chair dance ever.
Right?
You know, we all have our own version of a chair dance, but like she's killing it.
I can't wait for them to go on tour. That'll be really
Yeah.
fun.
So what do you think about the song though this week?
I love it. And just her voice brings me back to being in middle school listening to her. I just like the raspiness. It makes me think of just the same old Ashlee Simpson that I loved.
I love it's very sultry, kind of rocker chick, rock and roll. So they're bringing that in. It kind of gave me like feels of both Prince and Lenny Kravitz. So it just has this feeling like that song right there. If they had a whole album of just that kind of music, I would totally be into it. I'm into this whole EP. First of all, I'm definitely going to be downloading it. It's amazing. But that's my kind of music, like that feel, like that sultry, like I could listen to that in my car. LA traffic wouldn't want me to like pull my hair out, you know, so.
And just the mix of his soulful, soothing voice with her
Yeah.
raspy kind of like rocker chick, like you were saying. I love collaboration type songs like that. And even just knowing their relationship, being a fan, and then hearing the music they put on together just brings it all full circle, and you like it that much more because of the background that they have.
Absolutely.
And you can feel the connection when they
And
are
to
together
know,
on the mic.
I was gonna say, and to know that their whole family is kind of charitable too, you know, like how they performed that. And we know that she didn't want to perform it until it was perfect, but that happened back in August. So to know that she performed that for charity and they raised so much money, like that just makes me love them even more.
It really does.
Yeah, I love it. I once again, I can't wait for them to go on tour, and I think that they have a huge chemistry on stage. Like especially just seeing that video. Oh my God.
It's nice to see deserving people get the credit they deserve.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, nowadays
Yeah.
it's hard to, I think, find authentic people and authentically talented people. So when you see firsthand that they do write, they do sing, it's not just mass produced by someone telling them what to do. This is real, and they're being authentically themselves. And to see it work out, to see people like the music, I think is rewarding even as a fan, because it kind of motivates you yourself that
Absolutely.
there's good out there. Do you know
Oh,
what I
for
mean?
sure. Oh my gosh, that felt good, and I love the way you said that.
Thank you. It's just, I think it's easy to sometimes get bitter and get down when you see a lot of fake things out there, and you, especially if you love an artist, and then maybe, you know, if you were to meet them or you see something about what they've done, it is discouraging as a fan, and you feel like you kind of, maybe you didn't know them, but you felt like you did, and you almost feel like that trust is gone.
Yeah.
So to see the behind the scenes, to know that they're good people, and to see it
Yeah.
working out, it's awesome, and they deserve it.
I agree. And I love the relationship with Ashlee and her mom. And Tina was the one that gave her that sage advice tonight where she said, find what works for you and your family. So obviously no two families are going to be the same.
And who is anyone to kind of tell someone,
Exactly.
you know, how they should do it, as long as there's no physical harm or, you know,
Oh,
mental
absolutely.
harm. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's no rule book really to do this life thing right. So it's like, if you're happy, if your child is happy, then who is anyone to tell you what you should do?
Absolutely. So, guys, let's talk about our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Makes me excited for Halloween.
I know. So, Maddie, what are you thinking?
Okay, well, I'm really excited that Jessica Simpson's going to be on the next episode.
that
We finally get to see her.
Yes.
And is her hunky husband going to be on it?
Good question. We don't know yet.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. And then we're kind of asking ourselves, is Ashlee pregnant? I don't know.
They left that cliffhanger.
They did. That was really sweet. But I'm hoping to kind of go on yours. I'm hoping that look was, well, I'm not pregnant, but my sister is, because we know that
Yes.
Jessica is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thinking
Jessica's
back,
pregnant.
they definitely did a little play on that twice because they asked her at the park, "Are you ready for child number 3?" And
Yeah.
she's saying eventually, and then they leave it hanging. But yeah, I think especially with media, we would have found out if it was Ashlee. Obviously, it's not. It's
And
Jessica.
she's 34, which is still very young. However, you think at 34 you're going to start to figure out, okay, if I do want this third child, maybe I should start now, because it's not always easy once you hit the 35 mark.
And then if you are particular about the age differences with your child,
Yeah.
man, that's hard. Not in any rush for those things.
It's stressful.
So your predictions are?
I agree with Maddie where I am excited to see Jessica Simpson. I want to see the sister dynamic a little bit more. And I was always curious when she had the song way back when talking about living in her shadow. I wonder if she feels that at all now. I think she's really found her own voice, so I don't imagine she does. But I wonder if she's going to talk about that at all with Jessica around and having her come out to her show. Because as a young girl, she said she was 14, but it was for Jessica. So I imagine it was all about Jessica. So I'm curious to see how it is switched now, where Jessica's there to see her on stage, and I'm excited for her to
Right.
see how she does. I'm sure she's gonna kill it.
Well, I predict that we'll all be excited to see Jessica no matter what she's saying or doing on the episode. And hopefully she was far enough along where she feels comfortable enough that she lets the audience in on her pregnancy, like the television audience in on her pregnancy. And then, of course, I'm excited to just see them, like you said, interact, the girls together. And they do look more alike now than they used to. Obviously, dark hair versus light hair. And even when Ashlee was first a blonde, they still had very different appearances. But now, as they gotten older, they've kind of, their looks have changed more, and they kind of look more alike. So I don't know. I feel like maybe that's also a symbol of them being more at peace together, because sometimes when you're rebelling, you just do whatever you can to not look like the person or not be like the person or whatever. And so now it seems like they're mature and they've come into their own, and
That's funny that you say the rebel thing, because I do feel like Ashlee had that typical stage of, I'm doing this crazy look and I'm gonna be me, and then she through all that found who she really is. And you can see it now. She rocks her look. She looks confident and happy and obviously gorgeous. I think only good things are coming, especially I'm so excited for the release, and I really want it to do well. And with the songs they put out so far, I can only imagine people are gonna love it.
Well, I'm sure you're right. And so, Maddie, where can we find you during the week if you're going to be talking about the episode or looking forward to next week?
So on Instagram, I'm at Maddie Pocks, MADDIE POCKS, and then Twitter, it's Pockadoodle Do.
You guys can follow that one. Yeah. Both Twitter and Instagram, I'm at HeyJ, HAYJ_.
And I'm Susan Pinckney, SUZQ 90210, Susie Q 90210, and thank you guys so much for watching with us.
Thank you.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.